Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dakota Pride Fantasy Football League podcast. Hello, everyone. We are back. Got our draft order. That's the main thing we're talking about today. Happy to be here. We got Jaden and Blake here today.
Last place coming in.
First place coming in.
We got first and last here and second. So it's gonna be a good one. So right away we're gonna kick it off and I want to go straight over to Blake, talking about our draft order. Blake, what do you think about your draft pick?
I would say.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna do this differently.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna say the draft order, then ask you guys how you feel. I feel like that makes more sense.
That's fine.
That is pretty smart, yeah.
So the first pick, Bryce. Second pick, Andrew. Third pick, Wyatt. And then Jaden right here has the fourth pick in our draft. Manny has the fifth. Laner 6. Brando 7. I have the 8th. Gage has the 9th. Derek has the 10th. Joshy Foxy has the 11, and Blake with the 12. Blake, you are sitting at the 12 again. How does this keep falling in your lap? And it's like, honestly, if you were bad at drafting at 12, there'd almost be a problem because you're doing it every single year.
First of all, I just want to say it's kind of cool how Jaden's the 4 year, the 8, I'm the 12. We're all pretty spread out. We're not back-to-back picks doing this. And,
That is kind of crazy.
Being the 12, so last 3 years I've either been 10, 11, 12. 12 being 2 years in a row now.
Last year wasn't it like 11, 12, 12 or something?
Yep, it's been at the back of the draft, and it's been okay because it really takes away me making a huge mistake at the beginning of the draft, like taking someone that's highly projected and then flopping, whereas I can sit here at the back of the draft and let everything come to me and go off gut instinct, I think, at the end of it. Last year, I was happy with it, but not happy with it at the same time. I got 2 people I really wanted right away, but it kind of fell apart round 3 to 6. I didn't draft very strong, so there's definitely some strategy going into it, but I'm overall happy with it. You're actually in the spot that I wanted. I think I told you that I wanted the 8, but anything in that back half is really what I wanted. I really don't like being in the front of it and being in control of what I have. I like having the cards fall to me and making my team how I want it at that point, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely see where you're coming from. I didn't want the 8. I wanted where Jaden was, so it's kind of funny. I was hoping I was exactly where Jaden is. My 8th pick, I don't have a strat whatsoever. Last year I went into it knowing I was taking Jefferson at 2. I would have taken Jefferson at 1 last year. But yeah, last year I knew I wasn't.
That's really crazy you say that, because I think I told you this on the phone the other day, but listening back to, I think like a week 6 podcast where me, Brandon, and Jaden and Bryce redid a mock draft for the top 2 rounds, I don't recall Justin Jefferson being drafted. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm pretty sure you had like Tyreek Hill as on the swing, and then Jefferson was like the very end of your second round.
Right, dude. He was way at the end. He wasn't the first round pick.
Justin Jefferson really struggled at the start of the year last year. We got to remember that.
Yeah,
he turned it around, but at that first few weeks, he was not doing well.
Yeah, he had that right away 34-point game, and then he had like a couple like 3 and 5s. Like the Eagles game, he had 3, and then it was like 10. Couldn't find the end zone.
It's just crazy to think about that after 7 weeks in our fantasy football season that we didn't end up putting who would overall be the top receiver by quite a bit in the first 1.5 rounds. You know what I mean? He wasn't the first guy I really thought of, and maybe not even top 5 guy I thought of. But there's a little biasy in our league because there's a lot of Vikings fans, so it makes him a little bit more valuable, I think, than other leagues too.
Yeah, fuck the Vikings.
I would say Eagles past few years have been like the hot commodity in our league more so than Vikings.
Especially last year for sure.
Yeah. Jaden, what do you think about your 4 pick?
Well, you guys have been kind of wishing for other picks. I'm not necessarily upset about 4. Typically, going back to like 6 or 7 years ago, I saw a thing that said the best pick to have is number 5. So I always like to be somewhere like 4, 5, 6. 4 is a little bit early because when you get into the wraparound, you're drafting a little bit late in the even numbered rounds. But I do like it because if there's trade potential, I could trade down and maybe pick up a couple picks, which would be ideal to try and build my team. So I'm happy with 4. I got a couple guys already in mind that I could maybe take there, and obviously we got to see how the rest of the offseason goes. And it all depends on who gets picked before me too. But it's a good spot to be. You can do, you can trade down to like, if you wanted to get up to 4, I could trade down to 8, maybe pick up a couple picks.
Exactly.
Even if I traded down to where Blake is and picked up some picks. Like there's a lot of options with what you can do at 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot better than having 11 last year.
Yeah.
It's a great value spot, honestly.
It is.
Yeah, I like that 4 spot. I would definitely, I don't know. I know I plan on being pretty damn aggressive again this year in the draft.
Yeah, I think my plan is to maybe be a little bit less trade happy. I think last year in the draft alone I made 3 or 4 trades. So trying to not be so trade happy is kind of my strategy this year.
Yeah, I don't think there's, me personally, I don't think there's going to be as much trades this year. I think there's going to be, maybe we're going to have 1, 2 big ones, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
I think you could see. I think you could see kind of what happened last year. You see one happen. You have maybe 1.5, 2 weeks where trades are heavy, and then I think it'll taper off pretty.
Yeah, I think the draft itself, personally, my prediction is that there isn't going to be much. I know there's been talks about a potential 9 trade already. Gage saying that he doesn't want that 9 pick and wants to get more value, which honestly, that end of the draft, end of that first round is a great place to get an F ton of value.
But I feel like Gage drafts a lot different than I do. I think he wants to be in a spot where he can get who he wants, not have someone come to him. If that makes any sense.
Yep, I think he has one person in mind, and I'm guessing it's the same person I'm really wanting to get. So, well, from there we are gonna do a mock draft today, but we're not gonna do that yet.
Ooh.
We are gonna do. We're going straight over to Believe It or Not.
First, believe it or not, of the year.
This is the first one we've done it. We did it a little bit ago, but I mean, I think we had 3 people watch it. We're still trying to we're in the off season, trying to figure out how to get this podcast the best it can be. So yeah, this is the first one of the new year. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Let's go.
So believe it or not, there will be a quarterback taken in the first round.
Believe it.
Ooh.
Didn't Manny have the 5 pick last year, and he took Josh Allen?
He took with the 6 or 7 pick, I believe.
7th,
I mean,
I believe. Yep.
7th pick, he took Josh Allen.
Manny definitely could. Someone could maybe get a little happy and go Pat Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or something like that. I wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's going to do it, it's going to be Manny.
Manny's early though. Manny is sitting he's sitting right after you. You gotta remember.
I know,
that.
but he was in the same exact spot last year.
And I know, but last year I think he was between 2 different guys last year, or 2 guys, and he thought for sure he was getting Jamar Chase. Then Josh took Jamar Chase. He freaked out and got Josh Allen. That's what I thought happened.
I don't think there will be one taken in the first round. I don't.
I'm just
think
going to prove you guys wrong. I'm going to take one.
I think I'm gonna say there will be, simply because I think Josh might at the 11.
That's okay with me.
Someone late in the round could sneak out.
Exactly.
Honestly, if I'm Josh in that position, not giving away secrets or anything, I don't think Josh would do it first round.
No, he's sitting at 11.
He's close enough to the wraparound. He probably knows Blake won't take a quarterback first or second round, so he's probably, if he really wants one, he could probably try and sneak one out in the second round just because he's so close to that wraparound.
Yeah, I will say if I'm Blake, I'm 100% taking Josh Allen in that wraparound.
You're taking Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, that's my first. That's my swing. Patrick Mahomes and those two picks right there, trade value right away.
Oh, dude, that would be genius.
I told Manny that this weekend. Actually, I hope Manny listens to this. I told him I was
That would
taking
be so genius.
I told him I was taking Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts right there.
I've never. Why did I not do that? I've never thought of that. That is actually so smart.
Shout out to Bryce for that idea.
Yeah, Bryce said that as a joke. So he was gonna go Josh Allen right away, and then first.
Okay, well,
overall
if
pick,
you're
Josh
Bryce,
Allen.
you're a fucking idiot. But Blake doing it—that's actually a really smart move. I like that. I'm not even kidding. I would actually, if I was in Blake's spot, consider doing that.
All right. So with the last year going the way it did, and running backs being so expendable, believe it or not, Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, or Saquon will drop out of the first round.
All of them, or just like one of them?
Just one of the four.
I would
Yeah.
see one of them dropping out of the first round just because there's a lot of wide receivers you could take.
And to put in perspective, as of today, Eckler has the ADP 3, JT has 4, Derrick Henry 7, and Barkley 11.
I would honestly, if one was going to fall out of the first round, I think it would be JT.
That's what I was gonna say too, Jaden. Yep.
And then you also have Nick Chubb in that conversation somewhere.
I think Nick Chubb will be drafted higher than Jonathan Taylor this year.
I think I think for sure 3 running backs go in the first round, and if there's a 4th, I bet it's Derrick Henry.
Okay. So
I would be shocked if Derrick Henry did not go in the first round. I mean, his numbers were down last year, but he was still the RB4 for our league.
I'm going to be straight up. If he's sitting there at 8, I'm taking Derrick Henry.
Marcus, we just lost you.
Marcus,
I
straight
just
up
don't
gone,
really-
or
I think he's just
He is
he's gonna
straight
get
up
the carries
gone.
regardless of where he is. I feel like so.
So I guess I'll be straight
Maybe
up
not
until
Philly.
Marcus
If he
comes
doesn't go to
back.
Philly, I don't know if
Right.
he maybe drops out first if he goes to Philly.
You know, looking at the running back numbers last year, he mentioned Eckler, who was
What do you guys
RB1. I called that, by the way. Thanks for pointing that out, Blake.
yes, sir.
You know, CMC is going to go first round. Guys like Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, Saquon could go first round. Derrick Henry first round. Like, you've got a lot of guys who are, you know, your first round running backs. JT, I guess, could be up there, but I don't think he'll be a first round guy this year.
I just
I
think,
think
like,
he'll be the one that slips.
you look at JT and like maybe even Najee, people are just a little scared, you know, from what they seen last year.
For
And
sure.
It's hard to waste, or not waste, I say, but gamble that first round pick on someone that you're not that confident in. Whereas last year at this time, everybody's like, Jonathan Taylor, you got to take him number one. So,
Yeah, you were almost like forced into it, which is a little bit different this year because I feel like there are a lot of different options with what you can do at one.
Watch the movie now.
there is.
Like if I was in Bryce's position right now, I'd say that there's probably 3 guys you could choose from at one. If we're being completely realistic.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
this is
100%.
just for any league, like not our league specifically, but just for any league, there's 3 guys you could probably look at. For our league, you know, you can maybe add in 4 with the tight end premium.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a lot different than last year because last year was basically an automatic JT at number 1, and then the rest of everything is, you know, whatever people decide. But
Because like last year at this time, everybody was kind of iffy on the CMC deal because is he going to get injured? He's not in a good offense. Whereas this year, he's probably the number 1 overall pick in most drafts.
yeah, he's sitting in a beautiful offense after getting traded to San Fran last year. His numbers were really, really good in San Fran, averaging like 20-ish points, fantasy points a game.
He was just
Maybe more. He was looking really good. What week did he get traded?
like 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there maybe. I'm not.
Well, so he played the Rams week 8 and scored 36. That wouldn't have been when he was on the Niners, would it?
I apologize. Rosie went off and clicked my internet off.
Nice.
You're good, brother.
Nice.
So,
we were just kind of talking about number 1 overall pick this year and JT. What was your thought going to be, Marcus, before you
what
got
was I
cut out?
talking about? What was I talking about?
You said if I'm being
about-
completely honest, and then you...
Oh, if I'm being completely honest, if Derrick Henry's sitting there at 8 with me, I am 100% pulling the trigger on Derrick Henry at 8.
Yeah, I don't think Derrick Henry falls out of the first round.
Like, he's literally my top running back that I think I actually have a legitimate shot at. Which is hard if you really think about it, though, because you have Brando at 7, where I think he takes Saquon.
Which I think Saquon should probably go at that area.
Yes, but he's sitting there looking at Derrick Henry or Saquon, which is... That's hard.
I mean...
Brando's at 7 and 3.
It could go a completely different way, too.
I could see
Seven
someone
right
like...
in front of me.
I could
Even
see
at
someone
that
like
time-
Manny taking Saquon.
That's true. He did, yeah.
There's going to be guys available at that time because, like, looking at the ADP and stuff right now, like you're looking at guys like CMC, JJ who are going early, and everything else throughout the first round is kind of a toss-up. And, say I could pick Saquon at 4, but Saquon could also drop to Brandon at 7, or maybe Brandon doesn't like Saquon and he drops down to 12. Like it's going to be a crazy first round this year compared to last year. Last year was just kind of a shoe-in. This year you've actually got options across the board.
I agree 100%.
Sorry. Rosie's crying right now. She's being a menace to society.
You're good, man. Is there anything else you
Next
wanted to
one I
touch on
have...
that one?
I kind of have it jumping right into the next, believe it or not. So with the running backs, one of the, maybe being running back low in the first round, the second round there will be 7 running backs taken, believe it or not.
7?
7 running back.
7.
There was
I
a
mean,
lot
you're looking
taken
at that
last
point
year.
that there's going to be... I think there's going to be 4 taken in the first round, maybe 5. So if you're thinking 7 in the second round, that is 12 running backs off the board.
So let's say this. Let's say Eckler, JT, Derrick Henry, and Saquon all do go in the first round. And then
You forgot CMC as well.
And CMC. So there's your 5-year that taken in the first round. And then for second round, you're looking at the Najees, Nick Chubb, ETN, Tony Pollard, Ken Walker,
Josh Jacobs.
Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs.
Tony Pollard. Did you say Tony Pollard?
Yes, I did. And I think he could sneak into the first, too.
I think he
7,
could.
though.
Guy was solid. I think 7's a little too much.
Because I just named 8. I just named, 8 or 9 right there?
Marcus, do you have
All probably
access?
could go in the second.
Marcus, do you have access to last year's draft?
Yes, I do. I'll go find it real quick.
I think there was more than 7 taken last year, if I'm being honest.
I think
Yeah,
so
but
as well.
but after I took 2 in the first 2 rounds, I'm pretty sure.
And the thing is, you got to remember, there's going to be teams like that again.
No, actually I didn't. I took Mark Andrews second round. I don't know. Guys like Najee are hard to trust. Breece Hall going to be kind of hard to decide. Is he going to be healthy coming off the ACL? I'm just looking at ranking based off ADP right now. Joe Mixon, who knows what's going on with Joe Mixon ever anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Dalvin's up in the air on where he's going to be next year.
For all that,
DeAndre Swift, Javante, don't know if he'll be healthy. There's a lot of question marks at the running back position right now, I think.
for all that's considered, you don't even know where Austin Eckler is going to be yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. So a lot of this I think you just got to sit here and be and think about what's going to happen kind of thing rather than
Zeke's still a free agent too.
If I'm looking at running backs taken in the first 2 rounds, this is going to be my prediction. I think CMC, Eckler, Derrick Henry, and Saquon first round. I think JT, Nick Chubb, Dalvin, Josh Jacobs, ETN, and maybe Breece Hall second round. That would be my prediction.
Is that 11?
I think that's 11 total, maybe. What'd I go? JT. I left Najee off. He's questioned. Nick, Chubb, Breece, Dalvin, ETN. I had 6 in the second round.
Yes, that'd be 10.
Okay, so second round running backs last year, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 6 last year. But there was also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 6 there was 12 in the first 2 rounds last year.
See, I just think people are going to go 0 RB drafts this year after last year. Because last year was a mess at the running back position.
Was there anybody that stacked in the first and second?
Andrew did McCaffrey, Aaron Jones. Derek did Jonathan actually, never mind. Bryce traded for Javante right there.
Yeah.
Gage did Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb.
God, that was
Brando did Najee and Saquon. And Wyatt did Eckler and Swift, then Fournette.
The ones that did it actually worked out, but it's just the running back position was a risk.
It's the injury factor. I think that's all it is.
And maybe I'm just looking at it with rose-colored glasses because obviously I had not very good luck at the running back position last year.
Well, you were the one person where it was working great for you. It honestly was.
That was trades. I traded for both my running backs.
That's true, but you were rocking.
I was rocking
with running backs.
Oh my god, that was so hard.
But then you were top of the league and got hurt.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying maybe I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses on the running back position, but.
So, I mean, I think it goes either way. Running back's still the most valuable position in fantasy football if you can get if you can get a good one.
Yeah, and that's that's kind of why I'm thinking more people will maybe wait because you can get good value still at running back even if it's not a top 5 back. Whereas if you don't have a top 5 receiver, you're losing 5 points a week. Or if you don't have one of those top 4 quarterbacks, you're losing 5-10 points a week. So.
But you could also, sitting at my position, I could run to the spot where if I don't take a running back at 12, 13, I'm not getting another pick in 24 spots. It's a lot of running backs come off the board.
The later you are in the first round, the more likely you are probably going to be to take a back.
That's why I love taking a receiver early last year.
Yeah.
One more with running backs. Only one running back will go in the first 4 picks. Believe it or not.
I am going to refrain because I am in the first 4 picks.
So, me and Blake will talk about this one because you have an idea what you want to do. I don't want you to give up what you're going to do. I think McCaffrey is the only one to go in the top 4.
I disagree. I think there'll be 2.
Okay. Which 2?
McCaffrey and Eckler.
What if Eckler's on a team like, let's say, I don't even know. Let's say if he goes to the fucking Falcons.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, maybe not the Falcons.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's my question though. I keep hearing the Falcon rumors for running backs. These fucking guys have Tyler Algier, and he performed last year when he came in. I don't know what's the hard on with running backs in Atlanta right now.
They just want a playmaker. If they can get Bijan, he's to step up from them in my opinion.
Oh, dude, you can't even, we're talking about draft right now, and we haven't even mentioned guys like Bijan.
Exactly. And Bijan, I think he's gonna go, around that second to third round swing.
Yeah, I forgot about Bijan. That might up that second round running back.
I don't think anyone takes him in the second.
Well, when did Breece Hall go last year? That's a real question. Third?
Yeah, third round to Laner.
Because, I would think Bijan is probably going to be drafted higher than Breece Hall.
Yeah, that's
because I think he definitely coming out of college has a lot more, potential, a lot more talk about him.
Yeah. I think he goes where I took Tyreek last year.
I think it depends on his landing spot where he gets drafted.
That could depend too.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Austin Eckler to the Patriots.
I'll say the same thing about Eckler then, honestly. If Eckler doesn't come back to the Chargers, he's not a top 4 pick. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Even if he does come back to the Chargers, Chargers are kind of... Well, again, rose-colored glasses, their offense was ass last year because they were missing 2 of their top 4 players the entire season.
Right. But a lot of people are kind of hard on Eckler. Look how far he went last year before he got taken.
He is. He's in a rough year of trying to get paid because it's 2 Super Bowl teams that do a committee, so it's no one wants to pay these running backs. So it's just a rough year for these running backs who are honestly absolute dogs, and they just can't get paid. So I feel for them.
Eckler carried my fucking team last year. I just want to say that.
Yeah, good trade getting rid of Cook. I won. I don't know if there's anything I could have done to get Cook, because I did not want him. So, believe it or not, Kelsey goes top 3 with our tight end premium.
That's kind of one I was talking about with Blake when you were gone, Marcus, that, looking at Bryce's spot, realistically, there's probably 4 guys who could potentially be picked at that number 1 because of our tight end premium.
Especially Bryce having Kelsey last year. And
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes top 3. And I can actually talk about this because I'm not in the top 3. I'm 4th.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put 4 on that one.
I'd believe that he goes top 3.
Yeah, I would too.
If I had to guess, he's going 3.
I would assume. I think 1 and 2 are pretty set in stone. It just kind of depends on what order they get picked in.
I'm not trying to say anything in front of Jaden, like to tell him to take somebody, but if Travis Kelsey's there at 4, I'd be hitting that button as soon as I could. You know what I mean?
See, the thing with Kelsey, like,
I don't know. There's a part of him. He's 31, 32.
That's what I'm saying. He's getting old.
Didn't have the best second half of the year, but also did. I don't know. Part of me wouldn't. It'd be scary for me, but like he also scored 100 more points than the next best last year. So
the guy's just starting to scare me.
It's a volume thing to me. Honestly, you look at any other tight end, nobody else gets the ball thrown at him more. Like Mark Andrews doesn't have a quarter. He doesn't even know if he's gonna have Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have Lamar Jackson.
Mark Andrews is a fucking walking garbage can.
George Kittle showed up for 4 weeks out of the year last year. He doesn't have a reliable quarterback all the time. Same goes for Kyle Pitts. Same goes for Darren Waller. And then you're getting into the middle tier tight end. So that's kind of where I look at it.
Here would be my thought. If I'm sitting at 4, and if you told me I can have Travis Kelsey at 4, or I'm guaranteed either TJ Hawkinson or Dallas Goedert at the 3rd round, I'm going to take TJ Hawkinson, Dallas Goedert, 3rd round, guarantee, over Travis Kelsey.
That's true. So
I'm just looking, holy shit. The projections they have for this year, they're projecting Travis Kelsey 210 points, and the next highest tight end is 145. Holy shit.
Yeah, and then like that 145 goes down to 135. Goddard's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 different tight ends for that 10 points.
Well, George Kittle's at 140. I guess, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a definite top 6, 7. So.
And then after those, it kind of falls off.
Taysom Hill, though, could be the league winner this year.
Dalton Schultz in Houston's a big question mark. So
it is. Who's their tight end in Dallas now? Or have they not got anybody?
TBD. Hunter Henry? Is that who it is? No.
It says Hunter Henry's in New England.
Jake Ferguson.
Didn't Hunter Henry get traded?
No, he's still in the New England. Johnny Smith got traded or got released.
Johnny Smith. Okay.
But Patriots also have Mike Gesicki now.
Hendershot. I don't know.
Okay, so maybe they're going for like that Michael Meyer dude.
Robert Tonyan, GOAT.
I could see the Cowboys drafting a tight end.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft, maybe?
See, the Bengals are supposed to get that Darnell Washington dude, who I think's overhyped.
Hey, Kyle Rudolph is still on there. Maybe they'll pick up Kyle Rudolph.
That's wrong.
All right, so last one for Believe It or Not. Believe it or not, only one tight. I don't think I need to say this actually. I'd say only one tight end will go first 2 rounds. We just kind of talked about that.
Yeah, it'll be Travis Kelsey, guaranteed first 2 rounds. I mean, last year, like I said, I took Mark Andrews 2nd round, and it was late 2nd round.
Yeah, you took him in my pick last year in the 2nd round.
I don't see that happening again this year. Like, Mark Andrews kind of had some value last year. He had a terrible year last year. Looking behind him, George Kittle doesn't really have the value. Kyle Pitts, TJ Hawkinson, like these guys don't have it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think 3rd round is going to be a tight end round this year. 3rd or 4th.
3rd or 4th.
And it could there's going to be a lot of value at that 3rd round with all the receivers going early. So there's going to be a lot of running backs going 2nd and 3rd, I think. So I mean, I can see tight ends they go in 4th and 5th this year for sure.
Yeah, the more and more I'm kind of looking at this, I'm kind of liking my spot. Like,
yeah.
Like I feel like I could probably get a top. Well, obviously I could get like a top 4 receiver first round if I wanted. I could probably get a top 15 running backs with my spot in the second round, and I could definitely get a top 3 tight end with my spot in the third round.
Yeah,
so
for
I kind of like my spot the more I look at it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. We're going to the mock draft right now. It's the last thing we're doing today. Share screen. I hope it's this one. Yep. Share. All right. So I'm going to go to all. And what we're going to...
Really wish you had people queued up and favorited. Just spoil everything.
That'd be hilarious. So what we're going to do is we're all going to talk about and we're all going to come to an agreement on each pick rather than just one person doing it.
Yep.
So first pick, this will be Bryce in ours. And I'm going to go through and say who has the pick. First pick, Bryce. What are you guys thinking?
Justin Jefferson.
See, I'm thinking CMC.
I'm thinking CMC.
All right, majority rules.
So
Like we kind of said, top 2 are going to be a toss-up. If it's not CMC 1, it's probably going to be Jefferson.
yeah, so I think I'm good. I think I'm good to put Jefferson here.
I think Jefferson 2 is the smart pick.
So first 2 are McCaffrey and Jefferson. Interchangeable. That can go either way. I wouldn't be surprised either way. 3 right here. This one we kind of have a discussion about because some of us think Eckler, some of us I think Kelsey.
This one is the real kind of toss-up.
And then me and Blake will kind of choose your pick. Don't worry about that.
That's fine. Thank you.
I don't think he takes Eckler just because of last year. That's what is leaning me away from him taking Eckler.
Another thing is though he traded him away and went off. Is he like, okay, this year I'm drafting him and keeping him?
It could be a.
I say it
Or
depends
if you go-
huge on where Eckler is at the time of the draft.
Yeah.
Or
Like if we have a Los Angeles Eckler, I wouldn't be surprised if Wyatt takes him 3. Because I bet he'll have some pretty similar production as last year. But if he's elsewhere,
here's another scenario: Derrick Henry gets traded to the Eagles. Does he go here?
No.
I think with Wyatt maybe.
I think no. I think Laner would take him at 6 if Jaden or Manny wouldn't take him. I think 3's too high, but I don't think there's a receiver he takes here. I think Cooper Kupp's
You don't
too big of a
think
question
maybe
mark.
you don't think maybe Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase,
No.
Cooper Kupp.
I think it's
So you
Eckler or Kelsey at this point.
I'm voting Kelsey. So
I'm in agreement with that.
Yep, I'll go with Kelsey.
what are you doing, Rosie? Now does Jaden's pick, Blake?
I'm on the clock.
Oh.
So we're really gonna look and see what. So we're looking at these running backs, and honestly, it's and wide receivers wide open right now.
Like we said, I think if Eckler's there with the Chargers, I don't think Jaden goes wrong with taking Eckler there. But I think
see.
if I had this pick, I would take Jamar Chase.
If it's me, I'm Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
But
Can I ask why
for the-
Cooper Kupp over Jamar Chase at this point? I'm just curious.
Why? The target share. Simply the targets.
See, I want to
Not
throw.
like Cooper Kupp's targets aren't going to go away. Stafford's playing. That's how I see it.
I want to throw a third name in here.
Okay.
And this is solely based on looking at last year's stats.
Okay.
This guy was the wide receiver 2 last year.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and he's 12 on this. I don't think he's going to be 12 when it comes up.
Like,
I think he's going to be projected to go around my pick.
I think Tua's a big question mark with Tyreek Hill this year.
I guess Tua. But like even
But it was the
last
same-
he
it was the same
performed
thing.
last year.
Same thing last year. Everyone's two as a question mark. I got him in the third round.
And that was like a
So-
steal in the third round.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy had more targets last year than he did in Kansas City.
True.
1,700 yards. I mean, it was a fucking amazing year from Tyreek Hill last year.
And another thing I put out there, he's done at 31. He's giving it his all every single snap.
But that's one name I want to throw out there because that's one, like, looking at ADP, he's low for
He is low.
how he finished last year.
And he will shoot up. I think he will shoot up. Blake, what are you thinking? This is me and you, and I think we'll kind of. I think Jamar Chase probably would be a good one. He's younger. He has a higher upside, I think.
Better than the Bengals receiver I had last year.
I think sitting at 4, if this is how it goes, and I'm projecting Eckler stays with the Chargers. That's not a spoiler. I just think that's what's going to happen. I think Jaden takes Cooper Kupp here. Period.
You think Kupp?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with that. All right, 5 is Alex.
But before we move on from Cooper Kupp, who's the quarterback in Los Angeles next year?
Stafford.
Fuck that. Fuck that noise.
I'm going to change that to Jamar Chase.
I was gonna say put Tyreek Hill there, but all right.
Dude, I'll take Cooper Kupp. What did he score last year? That's the real question.
He was number 1 like 3 weeks
Marcus,
after he got hurt.
Put Cooper Kupp back.
He was number 1 last year, 3 weeks after he got hurt.
Yeah.
And Matthew Stafford was that ass.
Yeah.
Marcus,
Because he got every single ball.
There you go.
I'm looking at this shit.
Yeah, he was number 1 for a long time, and Jefferson couldn't get over
Yeah, dude,
it.
he fucking averaged.
Jaden, why do you think
Holy
Laner was
shit.
Jaden, why do you think Laner was so dominant? He had Cooper Kupp dominating plus AJ Brown going off every week.
Holy shit, dude. I didn't think Cooper Kupp did that well last year.
Yeah.
What was his injury last year? ACL? Ankle.
ACL. It was an ACL early on in the year, like week 5, right?
Well, he had an ankle surgery, too.
Yeah,
I'm
just
looking
had
at
ankle surgery, so I mean he'll be fine. Honestly, ankle surgery is probably good.
That's right. So this is Manny's pick now?
Yeah.
And this is Manny's pick, and I know how big he was on Jamar Chase last year, but I think he goes running back.
I think
think
if Eckler slips all the way down to 5, I think he takes Eckler in Los Angeles.
I agree 100%.
He either takes Eckler or he might be a douche and take Saquon because Brandon's right behind him.
If Eckler's gone, I
And
bet
then
he
a couple
takes
behind him.
Saquon. You know what I mean? If Eckler's gone, I bet he takes Saquon. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh,
What
I
if
thought that
they-
was Laner. This is Manny, my bad.
Oh, that was Laner at 5?
No, this is Manny. Laner's now. Laner had 5 last year. That's why I
Okay, okay.
But now it's Laner. At 6. And I have a hard time believing. He's looking at Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, Saquon, Tyreek.
Does he go
I
quarterback?
would think.
I would say for wide receiver wise, he either goes probably.
I think he probably goes Jamar, right?
I think Jamar or Tyreek, wide receiver wise.
I was going to say
running back
Jamar,
wise-
Diggs, or Hill.
Running back
Well-
wise, Derrick Henry, especially if Derrick Henry's in Philadelphia, he might
I'd-
pull the trigger.
If Derrick Henry's for the Philadelphia, he's going here at the very least, like
Yeah.
the latest. JT's not going here for sure.
I don't think JT goes first round.
Do you think Laner takes a quarterback? Or too early?
No,
No,
I do not. I
that's
think there's-
risky being right at 6.
What's your guys' vote?
I'll go just based off ADP right now. I'll go Jamar Chase.
That's kind of where I was leaning to.
Okay. Oops. Seven. I think we all are in agreement on who Brandon would take.
Yeah, he would take Justin Tucker.
Or do you guys think he would choose Derrick Henry over Saquon?
I'm pulling up stats from that. Did Saquon miss time last year?
No. If he did, it was like one game.
30-point difference last year between Saquon and Derrick Henry. But Saquon finished out the year shitty.
Not the best, but Brando is a Giants fan.
He
You always got
is.
to put that into consideration.
He's a
I mean,
huge Saquon dick rider.
Saquon was his bell cow last year.
So, does he ride that 2 years in a row, or does he just go for Derrick Henry, who realistically is a really safe running back option?
No, I think he takes Saquon if he's there.
Good.
I think. I don't think he takes any of the receivers that are there in front of him.
I don't think he takes Adams. I don't think he takes Diggs. I think you could have an argument for Tyreek right there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I do think he takes Barkley.
Yeah, I literally think it's between Derrick Henry and Barkley right here.
I think Saquon.
Yep.
Just because it's Brandon.
Yeah, me too.
And then this one's on you guys. 'Cause it's me.
And I'm going to
Derrick
go
Henry.
based off something that Marcus said earlier. He said if Derrick Henry, I believe he said if Derrick Henry fell to him at this spot, he would probably like to take Derrick Henry.
Yep.
So I would assume that Derrick Henry would maybe go here.
I would agree.
Looking at wide receivers, there's Devontae, there's Stephon.
The only person
Which
I
Mark?
can see in consideration with Derrick Henry would be Tyreek Hill. I don't know if Marcus would want him 2 years in a row. So that's why I would say Derrick
Yeah.
Henry.
See, I'm thinking too. Marcus last year he liked to build his wide receiver. Like he had the best wide receiver core. Obviously, some of it came from getting Tyreek in the 3rd round. But knowing him and being able to build with wide receivers, like I could see him taking a Tyreek, Stephon, maybe Devontae right here.
I know he's not a big Devontae Adams guy.
No, and I don't know his feelings on Stephon after he left the Vikings.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a clue what I want to do here, so I'm going off what you guys want to say. Not gonna lie.
I'd
My phone
say.
died.
I mean, I want to look at last year's draft before I make any sort of.
Say I'm gonna bring Rosie downstairs super quick, so I'll be back in like 10 seconds.
Yep. I'm gonna go.
I'm thinking Derrick Henry still, Jaden.
You still think Derrick Henry? All right. I'll go with that. Just
I honestly
How
don't
do you-
know if Derrick Henry will still be there. If Derrick Henry's not, I do think Marcus takes Tyreek Hill again.
but if Derrick Henry's not going to be there, what do you think do you think it would just be Brandon taking Derrick Henry instead of Saquon?
Or maybe
That would be
Laner
the only way that-
or maybe Laner doesn't take Jamar Chase. Maybe Jamar Chase goes down. Maybe Henry Barkley go there. You know what I mean? So then he could have the option of Chase or Hill too.
I
those
think
6 to 8 could
so.
flop.
Here, if Derrick Henry goes at 6 and Saquon goes at 7, I think he takes Jamar Chase at 8.
I agree. Yeah.
If Jamar Chase goes at 6, Derrick Henry goes at 7, I bet he takes a wide receiver at 8.
Over Saquon.
But with the way we have it right now, yes. The way we have it right now, I think he would probably take Derrick Henry.
I agree with that. Yep.
Number 9 is Gage. So I think Derrick Henry was the guy Gage is kind of hoping to fall back to 9 personally.
That's a shame you didn't get him. That would
Marcus,
he's
I
got
got
to
a
take.
question. You still got the
What's up?
draft from last year up?
Yep.
How'd you
When
get
did-
to it? I can't find it.
When did Gage take a receiver? Did he take a receiver in the first 2, or was it 3rd round?
Gage's first receiver was in the 5th round.
What?
He went Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Patty Mahomes, Zach Ertz, then Mike Thomas.
That's why I'm thinking Gage goes receiver heavy this year, because I think it really fucked him all year last year.
I don't know, or maybe he thinks last year was a success, which it really was.
It
How
was.
do you How do you find the draft from last year, Marcus?
Going to previous years.
Do we even have that tab not being the flash?
Yeah, and then it's like in like the little widget.
Is it previous?
think.
Oh, there it is. I got it.
Yep, little widget, and it says draft results.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
You should just make me a commissioner, and honestly. Yeah, so he went running back heavy last year with Derrick Henry and Chubb.
Yeah, went running back, and the JT is here, who some people believe he's going to be really good still.
Um,
Tony Pollard is gonna jump up to the first round, and assuming we get there and he's like, oh yeah, he's good to go by week 1. You know what I mean? I'm looking at other running backs. Josh Jacobs, he's probably gonna be in another contract year.
He got tagged, I thought.
Yep, so another contract year, so he's playing for more money again.
He's playing for D's nuts.
Ken Walker is going to shoot up again as well.
Ken Walker, I don't think it's going to be a first rounder, though. I think that's a stretch on Ken Walker.
I don't know if anybody left here would take Tony Pollard in the first round, just saying.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at value, I think your best bets are probably either going to be Jonathan Taylor, or it's going to have to be one of those 3 receivers that we've talked about.
Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. Gates has took a quarterback in the first round before.
He loves quarterbacks early. And he did have a hard on for Josh Allen last year.
But do you think he's going to take a quarterback right now when chances are he'll probably be able to take a quarterback second round?
Will he, though?
I bet he takes a quarterback. I bet he takes Josh Allen instead of Jonathan Taylor right here.
I mean, if he doesn't get a quarterback here, I guarantee Josh Allen might still fall to him. If not Josh Allen, he gets Patrick Mahomes.
Well, if you're looking at this, one of those top 3 are going to be there in the second round.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't think he takes a quarterback.
I think you build a different position first.
So I think I could see I don't know, every year he's...
But he also wants to trade, doesn't he? Like, he might not even be at 9.
He thought about trading this pick. He talked about it.
He wants to trade down or trade up?
I doubt he wants to trade up the way he worded it. He wants value, I think. Because he's at a spot where he can go pick up a second-round pick and have a lot of value and have just a well-rounded team, which isn't a bad strat. Especially in this year's draft, where I think the first 2 rounds are really deep.
Yeah.
So if you can get 2-3 picks out of him.
I think if he's got a choice of those 3 receivers, he takes Tyreek Hill.
He did go for Tyreek hard last year.
That's my pick.
Yeah, I'm going Tyreek as well because he went for him hard as fuck. 10's Derek. I know who he's not taking. I know who he is. My vote's he's gonna get his guy Devontae Adams.
Just spoiled who Derek wants at 10.
Oh, he hasn't told me. I think it's just obvious. He's a Raiders fan.
If he's there, he's taking him.
Or does he get him or Jacobs right here? That's nice.
It's too early for Jacobs.
It was way too early for Jacobs.
Okay. I think he's going to be a top 2 round pick for sure.
I think Jonathan Taylor screwed Derek last year. He ain't going to touch him.
No,
I think he could get Jacobs in the second round.
The only way he don't take Devontae Adams is if he just is questionable at the quarterback position with Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what I mean?
That is true. He does not like Jimmy G.
I think that
that's my thing.
I think Jimmy G is very valid enough to make Devontae Adams a good receiver this year.
I don't know if he's good enough to make him top 3 receiver. That's my opinion. I think he's good enough to make Josh Jacobs a top 3 running back.
Mm-hmm. It's that O-line. It's not Jimmy G. It's that O-line staying healthy. Jimmy G's
a game manager. Jimmy G's a game manager. He knows how to do those slants and open up that defense. That's the only thing he's good at in football.
That's true, but Devontae Adams is a big down-the-field guy. Jimmy G ain't good at that.
Exactly. That's where I'm saying, like, that's maybe where I wouldn't take Devontae, but it's also Derek, who's a... But at the same breath, he went Waller early last year to get his guy. You know what I mean?
I think Adams is the consensus pick, no matter what way we go.
Yeah, I think...
No, I was just trying to hit it from all points and where maybe Derek would think about it. I wasn't trying to argue it. So Adams right here, and then we got Josh. Also another guy who takes quarterbacks early every single year. He took Herbie in the 2nd or 3rd round last year. Josh last year took Herbert in the 2nd round last year.
I think Josh takes a quarterback here.
I think Josh takes Josh Allen.
I think...
I don't know about
that. If you're going to take quarterback, I don't think you take Josh Allen.
You don't?
No.
I think if he takes a quarterback, he's got to take Patrick Mahomes. But I also don't know if he'd take a quarterback here yet.
Again, did Josh Allen miss time last year?
Yes.
Yeah, he missed a couple games.
I guess he did have that injury. I was gonna say he wasn't the QB1 last year, so I don't know.
He also was playing through like a UCL sprain.
Yeah,
like,
he had that injury.
Now he's gonna have an off season. He's gonna be back to his old how he was the first half of the year. The whole assuming he doesn't get hurt again. Like you know what I mean?
I think
Like
if
Josh Allen's gonna be. I think it's yeah.
I think okay, if you're taking a running back here, do you take Chubb over Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
He had Jonathan Taylor last year, and he was hurt most of the time he was on his team as well.
I want to ask the question? How did Jonathan Taylor finish the year?
Let me click on him. 2022, he
didn't play the last 3 games.
He was the number 36 running back.
I know he missed time early in the season.
1, 2, 3, 6 games.
Yeah, he missed a lot of games.
But every game he
Recess,
scored
yeah.
double digits fantasy points. His lowest week
Yeah.
was
But-
11.4.
If you're going for a guy who scores double-digit fantasy points, you don't want a guy that's just going to score double-digit fantasy points as your first-round pick. And looking at him last year, Jonathan Taylor, week 2, 6.8. Week 4, 2.8. Week 8, 5.6.
And I will say, where my argument where Josh might take a quarterback is for how he was last year, he needs a sure thing because of how he did last year.
Yeah.
So where maybe you look at the risk management here, where maybe you go, he takes, let's say, maybe he takes Diggs here. That's more of a sure proof thing than getting a quarterback right here.
I think your sure thing if you're at this spot,
Or it's Patty Mahomes.
your sure thing is either Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs. Those are the only sure things that you have at this exact.
Yeah, because he's going for
place.
sure things here. He's not going to take a risk on someone who, granted, Jonathan Taylor was only high ankle sprains, which is going to be healed now.
Who's the quarterback in Indianapolis?
Gardner Minshew right now.
It's about to be Bryce Young. No, not Bryce Young. Anthony Richardson or like a Levis or they have so many options. C.J. Stroud maybe. I don't know.
I don't even know who the quarterbacks in the draft are right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a rookie quarterback, so that's another thing. Having Jonathan Taylor might not be the best thing.
I think if he takes a running back, he takes Nick Chubb. And if he takes a quarterback, he takes Patrick Mahomes. That's just me.
All right, I'm voting Patty.
I'll go Patty.
Then then Jaden, me, and you vote on the next 2.
Are we still doing 2 rounds, or are we going to stop after 1?
It's up to you guys.
I'd like to see you guys do both mine.
Okay, we'll do this. Yeah, we'll do both rounds and then we'll be done. So right here, I think if it's me, if I am sitting with the 12th pick right here, this is me, not Blake, but if it is me, I am taking Josh Allen and Diggs right here.
Yeah. If you have Josh Allen and Diggs available right here, you might as well double them up.
I don't really see where I think that'd be the smartest move in this, but another thing you can look at it is it's high risk, high reward. Jonathan Taylor, who's gonna have like that 5-6 ADP, going at 12 is insane. And then you also could go with Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the names I was looking at was until you mentioned that Stephon Diggs was still available and you could double those up. I was thinking Nick Chubb. Like you could even go Nick Chubb, Stephon Diggs, because then you've got pretty high guys at both positions.
Yeah.
But I think the smartest move is honestly, doubling up the quarterback wide receiver, which is always for some reason looked over. Like
And
people just kind of forget about that. I feel like
another thing is it's on such a high-powered offense where I think this is what I would do. I guess that's not what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to vote what we think Blake's gonna do.
I still think you gotta take Josh and Stephon Diggs.
Does he do Diggs and CD? I know he likes CD a little bit. I don't know if he likes him that much.
I don't know.
Rosie, no.
Because then that's a long time to wait.
Rosie.
He did also kind of mention earlier that, not taking a running back here is a long time to wait.
Yes, he did say that because that's where he got. Because last year his turnaround was Antonio Gibson and Kittle.
Yeah.
And then he had to take, and then his next run at 3 picks after that were Clyde, Elijah Mitchell, and Damian Harris.
I guess he did double up wide receivers last year too, but it was Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
Which
So
are
I
two
could also,
freaks.
he's also in a spot where he could maybe go Diggs and JT or Diggs and Chubb.
I don't think he'll take JT. I think
Diggs and Chubb wouldn't be bad either. Like right here.
Yeah, I can't really get past the doubling up of Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. Like the amount of points that'll lead to.
Yeah. And then now we are, Blake, what do you think about those? Without giving up what you want, if you like it or not.
I'm okay with it. I would be stoked to have that. I would have no issues with that, I guess.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody in our league would be mad if they ended up with those two players on their team.
I didn't think so. Then we're back to Josh.
I'm just gonna hit one more thing. I'm just gonna if I'm at my position, it just depends on what happens with the 11 picks in front of me. Is gonna
Exactly.
depend on
Yeah, that's
my
really what
pick
it is.
And
Exactly.
if this goes copy and paste for our draft in July, those would be my 2 picks at that scenario. So yeah.
So we're getting to the point where Jonathan Taylor is dropping really far.
I still don't think
Yes.
he takes him.
I think it's still.
I think it's Nick Chubb.
I think
Yeah,
Nick Chubb. I also think maybe CeeDee.
Or AJ Brown. AJ Brown was good last year.
AJ Brown, he's also going to shoot up.
I think if you're Josh in this position, you're looking at that you can still get a value wide receiver at this point. If you look at the running backs,
you're going to be getting some in the third round as well.
I think if you look at the running backs and you're looking at who you would probably get if you were Josh, 4 people not taking running backs, you're probably looking at a Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift, somewhere in that era. And I don't think you're necessarily mad about that. I don't think there's a huge, ginormous difference in value between an Aaron Jones and a, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb potentially. So
what are you thinking then? Are you thinking a CeeDee then?
I think
CeeDee or AJ?
probably going a CeeDee.
Blake?
This is the spot where I could potentially see a trade in the draft. But
Obviously, yeah. This where you were, Jaden, last year.
I was 11 or 10. Yeah, I was 11. No, I was 10. Why I was 11.
Yeah,
I
sure,
think
10.
personally, I think he takes running back. I don't think he takes receiver here. I think he takes.
You think Nick Chubb or JT?
I think
then?
he takes Nick Chubb.
I'd say. I think
Okay.
JT's gonna be a victim this year because of what happened last year.
I would go CeeDee here. For Josh. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna go look at his history last year. Actually, see what he did.
He went wide receiver, quarterback, running back,
Went
running
right-
back.
He did go wide receiver. Yep, Jamar Chase, Herbert, running back. So yeah, I'm gonna go wide receiver then.
That's fine.
And which one did you say, Jaden? 'Cause I'm
I said
thinking about
CeeDee.
that one. So I don't have 3 different votes. Team 10, Derek. He already has a receiver. I have a hard time believing he passes on Nick Chubb.
I don't think he will. I think he takes Nick Chubb here if
Blake,
he's available.
do you agree?
Yeah.
Or does he pair up Devontae Adams with AJ Brown?
I think if Nick Chubb goes to Josh, I think he takes AJ Brown.
No.
I'll be honest with you. I think if Nick Chubb goes to
So you
Josh,
think Chubb
I
here?
think he takes AJ Brown. But here, I would take Chubb for Derek.
You think he takes AJ Brown over CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are you guys' votes here then for this one?
I'm on the Chubb.
Whatever
I'm on-
you want. Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I'm on the Nick Chubb train.
Now we're on to Gage, who I also think he would have wanted Chubb there.
Gage just getting fucked here. But I think if you're Gage at this point, you have to take running back.
You think you take running back, or does he take AJ Brown here, like Tyreek?
I guess AJ Brown's your last guy you could take here. If you're looking at wide receiver, AJ Brown is your last wide receiver you could take at this position.
I agree.
You can maybe take a risk on Jalen Waddle or Debo, but
That's me.
then it comes to Marcus, who, as I just said, A.J. Brown's the only wide receiver you could take here. Marcus doesn't have a wide receiver yet.
I think Marcus takes the quarterback.
You think he takes a quarterback? You think he takes Jalen Hurts?
What wide receiver? I don't see him taking a receiver here, unless
I
you're
know
really high on him.
there's not a good receiver. Honestly, Marcus could trade right here too.
Could.
You know, if you're looking at maybe like I'll even use myself right now. Like I have Cooper Kupp. I'm sitting good at wide receiver. I'd trade up 5 picks, come take maybe a running back, or I'd be the one to take a quarterback. No, maybe I wouldn't, because there's not really shit.
The only reason I say that is because is Laner the next pick or is Brandon?
Brandon's next.
I think Jalen Hurts goes within the next 3 picks.
I'd agree with that.
So if Marcus wants him, he's got to get him. Because if he gets to Laner, he's gone. That's just
Yeah, he is one of those guys. He's really the last quarterback that is in that elite tier, as I call it.
Because I don't know if you want to stack running backs, and I don't know if there's one on the board technically that I would take here. Because I just don't trust the top 2. The third one's coming off an injury.
We're getting to the point now that the more and more I see Jonathan Taylor on this list, I'm like, this is getting kind of fucking absurd.
I will say, I'm just going to give my 2 cents here, because I think you guys can go in circles with any way you put it here. I would be in between 2 people right here, and they are both running backs.
Really?
So he's probably going to be banking on Breece Hall. I bet he takes Jonathan Taylor.
I would be between Jonathan Taylor and ETN.
I was going to
I
say
forgot about
ETN, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I personally would be in between Jonathan Taylor and ETN, but I'd probably go Jonathan Taylor.
If Jonathan Taylor's there, it's not a bad pick.
No, that's a good value.
I wouldn't
for what
hate
he
Jonathan
is.
Taylor here.
Lock it in.
Brando, he already has Barkley. I know he's not taking Najee.
Yeah, that fucked him last year. He might take ETN again. He honestly, he might.
I could see him taking ETN here. I also could see him taking a Jalen Hurts type to piss Laner off.
Me too. God
Honestly,
knows.
If I'm Brandon,
If God knows if
I'm
Laner
right
gets
here,
that pick, he's taking Hurts.
I will say, if I'm right here and I'm Brando,
I think you're taking Jalen Hurts just to stop Jalen Hurts from going to Laner.
I'm walking over to Laner like, hey, I'm taking Jalen Hurts. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. What do you want for it?
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Knowing that if he takes the trade, you have Breece Hall, you got Dalvin Cook, who's probably gonna be fine still. You got ETN, who would be my pick. You got Josh Jacobs right here.
Be like, all right,
And
now
Walker.
give me your 4th and something, and I'll give you. We'll swap
I'll
picks
give you-
right here. You know.
We'll swap picks right here, and I get your 5th,
Right.
or I get your 6th. But say obviously no trades right now. Najee's not getting touched this round. That's how I feel.
I agree.
I'm just gonna hang on
Breece
this.
Hall.
I think if Brandon goes and talks to Laner for a trade, I bet a trade is made.
I bet something would be worked out. Yes.
This has got to be a running back. Looking how everything is.
But which running back is going to be? ETN's the only option.
I think it's got to be ETN or Josh Jacobs.
I guess
I
I
think
did
it's-
forget about Josh Jacobs.
I think it's ETN.
Or
I think if I was,
I mean-
if it's Brandon, I bet he takes ETN over Jacob.
Yeah, he had ETN last year. You just run it back,
and then you
honestly.
got here where we're. This is Laner, correct?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
So this
Lock
is
it in.
Laner. Say Jalen Hurts or Josh Jacobs, because he did have Josh Jacobs last year,
No, he takes Jalen Hurts.
and maybe
What-
he doesn't care so much about the quarterback position.
What is the potential? Now, I'm kind of stretching here, but if you're Laner and you want to take a quarterback, what are the odds that you just say, yeah, it's Jalen Hurts, but I can pair Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase?
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like he doesn't because Joe Burrow should be there in the 4th round,
Third
third
round.
round.
See, I don't know about that. He's
There's a lot-
the next quarterback by
Nobody's-
ADP.
Well, Lamar's gonna jump up by the time we go.
I don't think so. I think Lamar's shit. I think Lamar's done.
I think Herbie will also could jump up. Maybe not over Burrow,
I
and
think
Justin
Herbie
Fields is still
Herbie goes in the third. I don't see him going in the second. I don't think Laner gets a top quarterback if he doesn't take one.
okay. So I guess so that he is ride and die by the Eagles. He did that with trades last year too. So I think Hurts probably is the best. Like,
I think it would probably be Hurts. Yeah.
Not even as like a Eagles fan. I think Hurts is the better fantasy quarterback.
and just it's honestly just getting a piece of that offense.
Yeah.
5, we're looking at Manny, Tony Pollard. Is it Manny?
Yeah.
Yes,
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard's available.
he's here. Take him. Yep. Yeah, if CD's gone, Tony
I
Pollard's
gotta
there.
scroll down for him on this one because they don't have ADP right. 'Cause he's gonna be a top 2 round pick.
I am intrigued by what you guys would do with this pick for me
So,
right
he
now,
has Cooper
and then I
Kupp
will
right
tell you
here.
my thoughts.
I know he likes Brees Hall, but it's one of those things where I think he goes Josh Jacobs.
I think he takes a quarterback.
But Josh Jacobs, or he's
Maybe
looking.
not.
I know he's not doing Andrews. I know he's not doing Kittle.
I was low key
He likes
thinking
going.
if he ain't taking Najee, I could see him touching
Not take-
Brees Hall.
Yeah.
He ain't touching T Higgins. He ain't touching Cook. I could see him taking Waddle or maybe Debo. I think it's too early for a quarterback unless you're taking one.
Those quarterbacks, yeah. In my opinion, it's between Jalen Waddle and Josh Jacobs.
Unless he wants Brees Hall for a revenge tour.
Unless he wants Brees Hall thinking he's AP, which could be.
But then you're stacking receivers. I feel like he wants to get at least one running back.
But another thing is like you have Brees Hall coming with Aaron Rodgers probably, who Aaron Rodgers is going to open that offense up even more than it was with Zach Wilson, and he's going to have even more holes. I think Brees Hall.
Okay, me too.
You guys want to know my thoughts on this pick?
It's up to you
If
because
you
you're
want
giving
to,
up your
yeah.
strat if you say it.
If I'm sitting at that spot, like kind of like
Copy
what
and
Blake
paste.
said earlier, copy and paste where we are right there. Blake said it perfectly. It's the Brees. I think it was Blake that said it. It's the revenge tour.
Yeah, Blake said that. And then now we're looking at Wyatt, who has a tight end. A lot of these top players he had, but I think there's a lot of receivers you can get in this 4 to 6 range.
I
I
think
think
it's
if you're Wyatt, you have to draft a receiver here.
You think so? So does he go T. Higgins or Jalen Waddle?
I think it's Waddle or Jacobs, honestly.
I'm on Ross here as well.
I think you probably have to go with Jalen Waddle here.
I would agree.
I don't expect. I mean, there's two ways to look at this with T. Higgins. Number one is I don't expect T. Higgins to get a lot of looks this year because the chances are he's probably not going to get paid by the Cincinnati Bengals after this season.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is he might get a lot of targets because they might try and get good value for him in a trade.
Well, it's the same thing, like with the whole thing with Josh Jacobs. Yeah, the whole thing with Josh Jacobs is like they were gonna run him to the dirt, and he freaking went
Showed
out
out.
and proved himself. Which, speaking of Josh Jacobs, I think you'd be hard pressed not to get him here.
Or does he value Najee more? Or Dalvin? Do you stack the Vikings players?
No, you don't. You don't stack running back wide receiver.
Especially on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook shouldn't be he should go all the way down to the 4th, in my opinion.
Dalvin Cook should be undrafted in this fucking fantasy league.
I think if I had this pick,
You also
I think-
got Ken Walker here.
I'd take Najee Harris. I just would.
You are a low-key Steelers fan, though.
My dad's a Steelers fan. Josh Jacobs brought me to
yeah.
a fantasy title last year.
I think Josh Jacobs over
I think-
Najee.
I think Josh Jacobs.
Like
I'll say-
Najee showed out at the end of the year last year, but
I love Josh Jacobs, and I'd love to have him on my team next year. But I'll say it right here to start the season. Najee's gonna have a better season than Josh Jacobs.
I'll put fucking 6 shotguns in a row on that.
people are forgetting about Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco's not supposed to go till like the fucking 5th, 6th round according to ADP right now.
All right, so this is
I mean, that's-
Bryce. This is Bryce.
This is Bryce. Bryce can go a lot. There's a lot of tight ends left. We know he loves his tight ends.
I don't think
Yep.
there's one that you take right here.
I don't think so either.
This is kind of going back to what I said. Like, just based off ADP alone, Hawkinson should circle back to his next pick. Like,
won't.
you might as well just wait and try and get Hawkinson. Or,
I think there's too many
Darren
Vikings
Waller.
fans.
I mean, I gotta admit, I would probably take Hawkinson round 4 before he got to Bryce. Absolutely.
Yeah, round 4 before you get to him, yeah.
But even then, you keep going down the list. Darren Waller, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz,
I think
Pat
Bryce.
Freiermuth even. Like, these are guys that are more than capable of performing at the tight end position.
He wouldn't reach on a Javante here, would he?
No, if I'm Bryce
Javante
right
coming
here,
off ACL. Well, I'm talking about Javante coming off ACL as I just drafted fucking Brees Hall.
He has T. Higgins, Debo, and Monra for receivers.
if I was
he's
Bryce
not.
here, I would take Dalvin Cook with one of my picks. I would.
You wouldn't take a quarterback?
No.
Like, you wouldn't pair up Joe Burrow, T. Higgins right here?
I don't know.
That wouldn't be a bad move, actually.
Debo ain't a bad pick, but I don't. You don't think you got two San Francisco players? I don't think he does that.
My favorite pickup. Honestly, if I'm picking a receiver right now, it's a Monra. That's who I would take. Even like points projection 207 compared to the other two.
If this is Bryce, I think he takes Dalvin Cook and Amon-Ra. That's me.
You really think Bryce wants to try and run Dalvin?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
think
know.
Dalvin's the best running back.
I think Bryce would be more likely to take Ken Walker or Najee than Dalvin.
I think Ken Walker. Even look at projection points this year right now. It doesn't mean shit right now, but projected 20 more points at the moment. I think, yeah. I don't know. This is like the hardest pick of the whole thing though, because it's getting to the point. It's getting to the point where it's like the other people, like the end of the second round's like what other people's strategies are, and we don't know that obviously. Let's go.
Go
Alvin
Amon.
Kamara.
Go Amon-Ra.
Alvin Kamara, who's not even going to be the starting running back on his own team.
I would say Amon-Ra's a good pick.
All right, so that concludes our 2 rounds.